Hello movie fans, casual viewers, and friends and family who watch my videos because they support my, hobby? This new series will be about discussing filming and storytelling techniques and just fun facts or observations. So basically a video essay, but I figured I either start a new series or come up with some film terminology of my own, and I'm just not creative enough for that. Feel free to offer your own opinion on what you'd like to hear or what you think about today's video, which is based on how some genres inevitably come pre-packaged with specific themes. We've got a lot of films to get through, and I can't bring up all of their good and bad qualities when I'm trying to focus on one. So if I point out something that your favorite movie did wrong, don't expect me to stop and say, the performances were pretty good though. So take that into consideration. Let's begin. Static. There is an important element of storytelling that you shouldn't just include in your story, but allow it to drive it. Whatever your plot, whoever your characters might be, and if your whole point isn't primarily to film some badass effects or to tell jokes with a camera, then what should take you from point A to point B is this simple question. How does this event or action reflect on what I want audiences to take away from all of this? I personally need two things from a movie to dictate whether or not I'll watch it. Theme and genre. They're very distinct but correlate well with each other, and it's always fun to mix them up. Horror movies can perhaps be about bullying, grief, loneliness, desperation. Horror monster movies can be environmental, sexual, emotional. Body horror can reveal too much about oneself or alter it completely from it. Zombie movies. I don't want to make anyone mad, it's only that I realize that most zombie movies seem to conclude on one theme: humanity is bad. And this situation only expresses that more. Now sure, this theme expands across post-apocalyptic films in general, but specifically zombie ones, because it's about creating whole new monsters from your friends and family, and still having the full conscious person dim your hopes even more. I think the nuance of it at the time sparked the imagination of every writer, and why not? Very few genres allow you, or better say, inspire you, to use up less time in coming up with overcomplicated plots and allow you to jump right into action. And maybe that is why overly explained plots are not as well received. And then came Zombieland. I think Zombieland is not giving enough credit for its off-the-box thinking. Many fun zombie movies, and by fun I mean those with more jokes or upbeat music, are very weak on theme with heavily rushed endings. And you know it's hard to keep up the spirit when all your friends are dead, but Zombieland from the very beginning, and I might just be far-reaching here, it's setting up its theme, which is to enjoy the little things, despite the loneliness. The moments of joy within the movie are when the characters let go of every negative emotion and embrace their own company. And if you ask me, the theme of surviving is a depressing one. This was a creatively new way to explore a genre that was beginning to die off, and so it changed horror cinema forever. Right? No, of course not. No one ever takes the most important element from something successful because they're harder to replicate. Instead, the zombie genre died for a few years because The Walking Dead made everyone bored with its depressing repetitiveness. World War Z was a thing. Not sure it even had a theme. Maybe the theme was about being a hero. I don't know, that's all I gotta say. Zombies are very slowly coming back, and when they are good, they are very good. I believe that they stick to the roots of theme while always shifting that element of emotion. So not only do they feel more worth your time, but also different from each other. The 80s was a time of innovation. Sci-fi and fantasy films were getting easier to do. Along came the gore, and maybe people became desensitized after a while, because while the zombie genre was coming up with ways of killing, other genres were creating worlds and expanding them with themes. And speaking of world building, humanity sucks. Okay, that's the conclusion we get to when this isn't an alien attack? Cool. The definition of utopia is a place or state of things in which everything is perfect. Imagined place or state. Making a film about utopias is extra hard, which is why we get so few of them, because they pretty much all lead to a theme of power abuse and control. Utopias cannot exist unless freedom is over minimized or someone else is getting shit on for you. I mean, its Greek origin translates it to not place. There are two types of utopias. One where no one is aware of the real crap going on, and they go on blissfully as long as you don't ask any questions, until our protagonist encounters a problem. And second is the closest to dystopia. Though the first thing you should learn about utopias is that they are just dystopias in disguise. Anyway, here, everyone is under surveillance at all times. Free will, gone, and all we know is that the leaders say it's okay until our protagonist encounters a problem. Anyway, I think utopias are more of a literary subject, which explains why so many writers were obsessed with the idea during the 19th and 20th centuries. Blockbuster films usually don't go all the way with certain ideas because of the bleakness of this ideology. It's a genre for someone with more liberty, and you don't get more liberty unless you make an independent film. And I'm afraid you can't do a film about an overall society with just a few $1 million. Thus, Usually high-budget utopias will fail to truly say what they want to. The fault of bad utopian movies is that they are too afraid to reach conclusions and insist on single good-looking saviors falling in love that deviate from the true focus. Another fault you can have when making a film about the overall evils of society is antagonizing your audience. It's a fine line you need to be in which you tell them that they are wrong, but they don't have to be. Don't make them feel like shit, they want to be on your side. Maybe people think that they can't do anything with this genre because everyone trying something different is trying the wrong thing. The most underrated piece here is Grass Kings, because of course, it's a comic book. But it's one of the best modern takes on the genre. Grass Kings takes place in a town in the middle of nowhere. Here, people go to mind their own business, while forming a community of trust. And why should they trust each other? Well, because it's the kingdom. And they just should. Trouble begins with the suspicion that a serial killer hides within these borders, and a man who insists that every person is to be trusted, and saying otherwise is an insult to him and his home. Yet, as the story unfolds, we learn more about the habitants' secrets and their true intentions. The mystery and plot are very compelling. It's got a lot of style, and the way it reveals information is unusually casual. However, it suffers from a rushed ending, but if every work of fiction were perfect, then I wouldn't be making this video. It's all a huge paradox, I think. The utopian genre is bittersweet. In order for it to even begin to be plotted, the bad guys must win, and sometimes they stay on top until the very end. It is also by nature very rebellious, and rebels need something to support their cause. If they don't, then no one will care to listen, and that makes it difficult, convincing people that you not only have something of entertainment value, but that is also important to pay attention to. Grass Kings is one of the last masterful pieces about utopias, because it knew that the next issue to tackle was our own community, whom we assume is 100% behind our cause. So what did we learn? If you want to revive a dying or dead genre, there are several ways to do it, from expanding on the set theme of it to completely flipping it on its head. If it's easier for you, you can just shift the elements that shape them. So there you have it. I hope I didn't waste your time too much. There's still a little bit of sun outside. Bye.